Okay, all right, we're recording now. We're going to talk about the 4-color personalities for MLMs. And it is, I know it's sort of backwards on there, but it's this book by Big Al Schreider, I'm not really sure how to say the last name. But if y'all don't have this book, it's amazing. It's a really, really quick, easy read. If y'all took the personality color test that I put on the chat thread with this, I know at least a couple of personalities here, so which is good because I think we have a mix on the call. But if you take that, what my goal tonight here is to basically give you the confidence when you're talking to people about Plexus or just in general, to give you the confidence that you're reaching them and that you're giving them information that's valuable to them. It's going to help you understand people. It's going to make you a better listener. It helps you just relate to people and to build relationships that are valuable. And that again, goes for your business and for your personal relationships. This even helps me out in my family because we're all different colors. So basically, the colors are, let's see what order I have them in here. Red, blue, yellow, and green. Trying to go in order. So we'll kind of go over the colors basically and then talk a little bit on each color about how to talk to them and the things to say and things like that, questions they might have. We'll talk a little bit about following up, how to use it on your list, and some questions to ask people as you go. So reds are, they're very, very determined. They're the driven, competitive. They want to know about how do I make money? And how do I get to the top? And don't give me a lot of fluff. Don't give me a lot of details. Like I need to know ABC, let's go. They're quick to make a decision. If it's something they want to do, they are on it and they're going to go forward, and they might not really slow down to go, oh, well, let me think through. You wanted me to do what? Nope, they're off. They're off and running. They're doing their own thing. And sometimes we need to help them slow down, but they love the challenge. They're self-starters. They like to be in charge. They are all about the result, the end result. So if you say, hey, try this pink drink, it's going to give you energy all day. Great, awesome. They don't care about how it works. They just want to know what it's going to do. Am I tracking there, Monica? Monica's very red. So basically, they want to know how the business is going to benefit them. Again, end result. What's in it that's going to benefit me? They want to know how they can go to the top. So if you're talking to them about the business, you want to talk about the unlimited earning potential. Where can they go with this? And, give them some basic concrete steps, but not a lot of detail. You want to be direct with reds. You want to get to the point, because if you're beating around the bush and you're giving them a lot of, oh, well, so, I got this story. They're like, nope, don't want to hear it. I want to know what you're trying to ask me right now. So you don't want to beat around the bush when you're talking to a red. You want to get right to the point. Hey, you know what? I have really been thinking about you, and I think you would be amazing at this Plexus business. You come right out and say it, because that's what a red wants. They want to know that that's what you're thinking, and they want to know that you can help them get there, that you know where they want to go. They're looking at the big picture of things. They're not looking at the little details. They don't want to know about, okay, well, so if I've got this one person and then each pay point, they don't want to know all the pay point stuff. They're like, okay, how do I earn the car? Okay, I need how many points? All right, cool, I can do that. Yep, I need to get how many people a month? Deal, done. And I can get to the top in how long? Fast as you want. Cool, done. So reds are very, very much about the big picture. They are fantastic leaders. It comes very naturally to them because they like to be in charge. They like to be doing everything. So basically, again, if you are red, I guess I should go back to that. If you are a red personality, the biggest thing to remember is to slow down and go at someone else's pace, because it's not necessarily going to come naturally to you to slow down and give everybody the details that they need if you're talking to a green. and we'll cover the other personalities obviously in a minute, but if you're talking to people in other personalities, they're not going to want to hear that red. If you just come right out and say, okay, here's what we're going to do, let's order, let's get you going, they might have a lot more questions. And if you don't slow down and answer those and reach them on a level where you're showing them the value to them, then they're just going to think that you're kind of being a little pushy, and they'll be like, nope, I don't want to do this. And they're going to shut you down. So as a red, you need to just kind of make sure that you're really being careful to slow down to the other personalities. And we'll kind of go through those here too. So blues, that's me. We're all about the fun, and we're talkers. I'm going to go out on a limb and say Paige has got a lot of blue in her. I know you got a lot of green, but
actually, blue is my lowest.
Is it really? That's
yeah.
funny.
That's the weird. I'm a weird introvert. I'm a talky person in my small groups and things I like to talk about, but otherwise, not a big fan. Like little small talk stuff. 36 is my blue. Believe it or not, it's my lowest one.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay. See, well, there you go. You can't always read people right away. So basically, blues are about the fun. You want to talk to blues about the trips, the cars, the things we're doing. They're going to be the ones that are having a sip and see, so they can have a bunch of people over and talk to them. We tend to want to be the center of attention. We're going to be the life of the party, but we're also really unorganized and messy, which has been like part of my challenge today. So it's tough for us to do things like follow up, show up on time, because we're going to be late somewhere because we were talking to 15 people before we got there, before we left. Like, oops, I'm late because I had to talk to all these people. So, but it's harder to get the follow up going with blues because they probably meant to message you back, but they got 27 other people talking to them and they totally forgot. Like right there, I just forgot. So if you have somebody who's really excitable and who has that kind of talkative, fun personality, and they're not answering you, chances are they just totally got sidetracked. we're the squirrel color. We like the stories. We like to hear and tell stories. Not so much on the research. I'm sort of an anomaly in that way, I guess, because of my son. But we're the ones that like to talk. So if you're talking to a blue, you want to let them do the talking. Ask them a couple of questions and let them just go to town, because they're going to tell you everything you ever wanted to know and a lot of stuff you probably didn't care about, because they just like to talk. But the good thing is that everybody talks to them because they are the ones talking. So they can engage people. We tend to be more motivating. We need to know as a blue that you're there as a leader. You're there to help us when we're like scattered, when we're not really sure where we're going. I need people to help me with long-term goals. I'm really good with a few months. Past that, I'm like, whoa, that's too far to think about. Like my husband will talk about where we're moving and what we're doing, and he'll be, 10 years down the road, and I'm like, what's going on next month? Because that's like I can't process past that. So we do tend to need the short-term stuff, but like I said, we're not necessarily a natural leader, but we like to have people around that can help us and give us the pointers. Needs to be sort of soft pointers, but it works out. Next color is yellow, and I know we got yellow. Exactly, yellow, Erin. The yellows are your helpers. They are the people who want to know how they can help people. And this is another strong color for me, so I can relate to this one. I'm pretty close. They want to know how they can help people. We're people pleasers. They are driven more by changing people's lives than anything else. So they're not going to care about whether or not it's fun. It doesn't matter as much if it's fun, if it's changing their life. They're not going to care about how much money they can make, because they're more worried about how it's going to change other people's lives. So really and truly, when you're talking to yellows, you want to talk about helping, whether it's helping people to feel better, helping people with the products to change their health status, to change what's going on in their life. If it's the opportunity, and that tends to be hard for yellows. It's hard for yellows to open up and say, let me tell you about this business opportunity, because they feel like they're trying to get people to do something or to spend money or to look at money. And it just feels kind of maybe like they're not helping. But the big difference is to turn around as a yellow and see this as an opportunity to help. So the business side can be hugely helpful for people. It can help, a single mom who's struggling and needs some extra money. It can help retirees. It can help people who are living paycheck to paycheck. It can help people who have kids going off to college who need that extra income. So that's a big thing to remember when you're yellow and you're looking at reaching out to people and you're kind of worried about, well, I don't really know if I should. Remember that sometimes there's a need there that they may have that you might not even know about yet, but that the business could meet for them. So that's a big, big difference. Yellows are amazing, loyal, trustworthy, lovable. They're the huggers. You go up to a yellow, they're going to hug you and it's going to be good and you're going to want to hug them back. They talk about their feelings a lot. Yellows like to feel things. They're very emotionally driven. So when you're talking to someone who's yellow, when you're, reaching out to people and you're reaching out to somebody who you think is yellow, maybe they're a nurse or a teacher, things like that, or a lot of times yellows will gravitate toward things like that because they're helping. When you're reaching out to them, if you are reaching out to them in a red way, and you're saying, look at this money you can make, the yellow's like, I don't want to make money off my friends. Nope, not interested. If you reach out to them, for example, in a blue way, you're like, whoa, this is so much fun. And they're like, okay, have fun. I'm all about you having fun. And they're not interested. So this is why understanding these colors is so helpful, because if you're communicating from your color and you're talking to somebody who's not the same color as you, then you might be totally missing the mark on what they need to hear. So that they're not seeing the value in it for them. So what's helpful about this is so that you can, see how to talk to someone else in a way that gets them engaged and gets them to understand what it can do for them. As far as greens, and I do remember this definitely about you, Paige, lots of information. Paige is all about the details. So I did know that was a very strong color for you.
Yeah, I'm 87 green and 77 yellow, so it's
okay.
Yellow is strong with the whole.
87's a high one for sure.
Yeah, but the green, the green.
Yep.
Paige, I guess that you are green from all the reading that you do.
I do.
I was thinking that you were green.
Right, and I couldn't understand in the book club thing when she's like, don't talk about research and stuff, and I'm like, what? That doesn't make sense to me. Why don't we want to know about research? Why don't we want to research?
Yeah. See, I knew green was your biggest one, but I thought blue was more up there. But
blue was it was crazy way down there. The red was 69, so I'm pretty close with the other three, but the blue was way down there.
That's funny, because I had somebody tell me today, oh, you must be a really driven leader. I'm like, yeah, that's my lowest one, actually. Right? That's red, and that's so much.
Yeah, but you learned.
Red.
Yeah.
So you never know. But anyway, back to the green. Very, very information driven. Greens are, your engineers and your researchers and scientists and things like that. Very, very detail oriented in general, very well researched. So when you're talking to someone who's a green, you cannot rush them. They're not going to jump on this because you tell them it's fun, or because you tell them they can help people, or because you tell them they're going to make money. That does not mean anything unless they have done their own research and they have come to the conclusion that this is a good idea. And so you're going to need to give them lots of details. They're probably going to ask you a whole bunch of questions as you're following up. So you need to be patient. And when you're following up with them, you need to be armed with information, because they're going to ask questions. They're going to want to know more about it. So if you're following up with a green, you want to say, hey, you know what? I saw this article and I thought of you. Shoot it over to them. That's what they're going to be like, oh, she thought of me. And it can be a great detailed scientific article that we're like, this is amazing. Whereas, if you send an article like that to a blue, you might be like, what? You want me to read what? No. So again, as you're following up, you have to kind of look at who you're following up with. So sending something like that to a green, saying, I would love to get your opinion on this. I would love to hear what you think after you read this article, or something along that line, where you're showing that you're valuing their research, their detail, their ability to go in and find all of these facts, because they are phenomenal at finding facts that I might not be able to find. They love to answer questions. They love to be the ones that are saying, here's the information. I found it for you. I got it. I got you. You're good. And it's amazing. And it's super helpful to me, because I have a little bit of green going, but it's more, situational green because of everything that we did with my son. But it doesn't come naturally to me to go find the details, because, I didn't even know. I had someone asking me when I first signed up, and they were like, well, how do we get paid? I'm like, no, I don't know. Like, they just sent me a check. I just didn't see it. And I had not obviously read this book yet to be able to go, oh, this person needs a little more detail than my blue. So anyway, they will want to get all of those details. And some of the questions Paige has asked has actually helped me tremendously. Thank you. Because I find out information that I didn't know. I didn't know it.
Well, I get frustrated. I read everything that I printed out, and then I still don't know the answer. So I'm like, now I got to ask the stupid question. And then it's like, I don't know. Let me find out.
Nope. You're definitely, there are no stupid questions. I mean, I still ask questions all the time. That's the best part about having a balanced team of people, about having different colors working with you, is that everybody's got a little bit to bring to the table. And together it makes an amazing combination. So, a yellow might need some direction from a red. A yellow might need someone to say, okay, this is where we're going to go, because this is how you're going to help the most people. This is how you're going to change the most lives. Let's do this. Okay. Because you're speaking to a yellow in a yellow language. Green might need some fun. From what I've understood, the greens tend to kind of see the blues like, okay, you go have the fun for me. Sweet. So it's a good balance to have with the team for sure. So basically what you want to do is take your list of 100 or however many people that you're reaching out to, and you want to kind of set them together in categories and say, okay, these are my reds. These are the people that I know I want to reach out with. Big picture, how do I get to the top and make money? And how do I be number one at what I'm doing? How do I win the prizes? How do I get to be the top? I want to be on the lists. I want to be, that's where reds want to be. And oh gosh, I just totally lost my place. See, I'm out of omegas. Yeah, so then you've got a list where you have your greens. Okay, I found this great article. Maybe you can send it to a couple of people that are on your green follow-up list. That kind of stuff can be really, really helpful with your list. When you're talking to new people, though, apparently about half of the time, you're not going to be able to figure out their color. And that's okay. And a lot of people have multiple colors. Different situations can bring out different colors in people. I've been told that I was red. And I was like, no, I'm just hungry. And I want to go out to eat, and y'all aren't going anywhere, so let's go. But typically that's going to be the red who says, all right, we're going to eat here, and let's go. But that's my lowest color. So, different scenarios bring out different things in different people. So sometimes you can't figure it out, and that's okay. But the ones that you can figure out are going to be the people that you can super communicate with. I mean, these are the people where you're going to be like, okay, I know exactly how to give them the information that they need in order to make the best decision. So that's going to make a huge difference in your business. Some of the questions you can ask when you're trying to figure out what people are, what their color preference is what do you do for a living? People who are CEOs and bosses, management, things like that, they're probably going to be red. Again, this isn't going to be guaranteed, but it's a pretty general thing. Blues are going to be in sales a lot of times because they're very influential and they tend to convince people to do things. So yellows, maybe nurses, things like that. So that kind of gives you a starting point. Ask them what they do in their free time. What do they do in their free time? That's going to help. Again, like Monica said, she could tell that there was green in Paige from reading. Like if you're reading a ton, you're probably going to have the green. Again, not guaranteed, but it gives you a really good path to go down. You can ask people, what do you like most about your job or your hobby, you know, whatever it is you're doing in your free time? What do you like most about it? Well, you know, I go hunting, and so I like that I get to go out and, you know, kill the beast and put the head on my wall. That's a red. You know, like you never know. Strange things, but so then you can, you know, keep doing follow-up questions to figure out and to help narrow down what color they are so that you know how to communicate to them better. You can even ask them, especially if they message you, well, what makes you want to know more about plexus? Because they are going to give you some information there. There are keywords, and it's actually in this book, they have them all listed out. So I'll kind of, like, they have a whole section here of all these keywords. So a few of them, like, for example, for yellows, they're going to use verbiage like care, feel, help, protect. They tend to deal with anxiety, concern, stress, support. I mean, there's a ton of words. Blues are going to be using words like fun, exciting, new, awesome. Like, seriously, I wish I had another word, because I feel like all the time I type awesome because like that's just what comes to mind. Busy, dynamic, adventure, stuff like that. Reds are going to use things like power, compete, money. They'll talk about winners and losers, authority, drive, strong, things like that are a lot of red keywords. Greens, again, are going to go with words like facts, data, figures, information, research, but they're also, again, very loyal. So you're going to look at, you know, commitment, truth, safe, experiment, stuff like that. So those kind of words you can see when they're answering questions to you. You can see those words in there and go, I wonder if that's where, you know, where we're headed, trying to figure out their personality color. And then when you are speaking with them, you can use that even in your written words. I mean, you can write them, you can say them, things like that, but you want to make sure that you're using that kind of verbiage, because that's going to speak to them and they're going to be able to relate to you better. So this applies to posting also. So you want to make sure you're posting things that attract all four colors. So you know, if you're a red and you're only posting to reds, or if you're a yellow and you're only posting to yellows, the other people on your feed might not be interested, and they might think, well, that's not for me because I'm not relating to that at all. So you want to try to kind of mix up your posts. You want to throw some informational stuff out there for your greens that may not have contacted you yet, but I guarantee you they're researching behind your back. And and then it also applies to when you're dealing with your customers and your wholesale ambassadors, because everybody is going to deal with things differently as they're going through die-off and detoxing and things like that. Reds aren't necessarily going to want to know the details of how the chromium works to balance their blood sugar. They want to know why they had a headache. You were dehydrated, drink more water. Okay, got it. You'll be good. Push through and you will be fine. They'll be like, okay, and they'll do it. But a green is going to want to know why the chromium balances their blood sugar. Why is that good for me to have? What is it doing to the rest of my body? How does that interact with the medication that I'm on? They're going to want to know all those kind of things. But, you know, a red's not going to know that, and a blue's not going to process any of it. We're just going to be like, what? So, you know, you kind of want to make sure, even when you're dealing with your customers and you're following up and taking care of them, that you're also keeping in mind their color. You know, if a yellow is detoxing, you want to talk about how you can help them through it. I understand that you're feeling really kind of crappy right now, and I promise you it's going to get better. I'm here to help you. Let's talk about ways that we can manage this detox. And a yellow is going to feel like they're understood, and they're going to feel helped, and they're going to stick with you. A blue wants to know that it's not all hard work. That, okay, we're going to get through it. It's going to be good. Here's some options, but you will be fine. You know, it's not a lot of work. It's not a lot of anything. And they'll be like, okay, all right, we're good. And they want to know that it's more lighthearted, that it's fun, that things can get through it and you'll be good. So basically that's what I have for tonight on the color training. I hope that this has really helped you as far as how to reach out to people, how to talk to people. It's kind of tying into the cold messaging call that we're doing with the Power Squad on Wednesday, because you'll want to be keeping colors in mind when you're cold messaging people. But it helps a lot with follow-up. It helps with your team members. It helps with your family. So if you haven't taken the test, go on there and take it. It takes just a few minutes. You know, post your results on the page, because I love to see all of that. I love to see everybody's results, and it makes it interesting when you're kind of comparing it. You see how your teammates are responding and how they're interacting on the page, because it helps you see how the different colors tend to behave. Of course, we all have different things going into it. A lot of us have multiple colors that are right up there at the top. Like, I think I'm 1 point different in blue and yellow. And we all have, you know, but whether you're an extrovert or an introvert is going to change how you respond to things. But there are just some really basic things with the colors that can be so hugely helpful for your success in this business, and can really just make things smooth in your personal life too. It just helps you to build better relationships and to be able to connect with people. So I hope that helped a lot. Do you guys have any questions right now? I don't have anybody.
I do. What was the name of the book again?
It is The 4 Color Personalities for MLM, and it's by Tom Big Al Schreider.
Big Al.
Big Al.
Funny.
So, and it's very inexpensive. It's on Amazon. It's quick to get. It's a fast read. It's not anything that's super, super tough, but it is really handy to have on just in your office, where you can look at it and go, okay, well, what should I say to this person? You know, they have it all broken up by color and how to reach out to people and questions to ask and things like that. It's all broken up separately. So it's super, super helpful. Anything else?
I think that's the biggest part. I took the Myers-Briggs personality test on 16personalities.com. It's a dumbed down version, a smaller version, but it's still pretty good. And so I learned all about me, my personality, and all this. And then what I kind of forgot to do was go back and learn about everybody else's, you know, and how to communicate. So I know all about me and how and why I do the weird stuff I do, but I didn't go into detail about how the other 15 people process and function. So this sounds like a much easier way to get 4 personalities instead of 16. Try to learn how to be people, as I call it.
Yeah, and there's still a lot of options. Like I said, a lot of people are, you know, double color. Like, I'm blue yellow and Mark is red green. So it's really nice to kind of, a lot of times your spouse is going to be very opposite of you because you balance each other. So he was actually in here in my office organizing things, and I'm like, he laid out my desk and he was like, well, is that going to work? I'm like, yes, thank you. Because I totally couldn't do that. And he was like, all I did was put stuff out there. And I'm like, yeah, but I couldn't see it. So we balanced each other really well, because my blue was like, there's lots of things on my desk and I don't know what to do.
That's funny. That's how I am.
Yeah, messy desk.
Yeah. I try to pick up and then I get overwhelmed and I just keep it moving. I just keep walking away. My husband will come up, pick up a few things, and I'm like, oh, I can now pick up the rest of that. Thank you. You know. And
yeah. It's so funny, but it's really, really nice to have somebody who kind of compliments you. So it helps at the house too, because we laugh, and he'll say something. He'll say something, and I'm like, that's your red. It's okay. He's like, I'm not trying to hurt your feelings. I'm like, thank you.
Well, see, the opposite of me is a messy, dumb person, and I can't deal with that either. So, so what am I supposed to do? I'd kill another green, and a messy, dumb person wouldn't last 2 seconds. So, very small window for me. That is why we have the puppies. Okay.
There you go. All right.
Thank
Well,
you
I'm going to
so
go
much,
ahead and
Alice.
stop the recording then. And